Alright, what's going on? Kicks, back for volume 2, second part of this little documentary series. I'm going to talk about, kind of break it down a little bit more about my life and maybe how I got to the point that I did. So start off obviously with the name Kicks, came about obviously for my shoes, shoes maybe like this, that maybe nobody else has, just something to catch people's eye. Jordan 17. Probably will never be retroed. Wasn't a very popular one, but definitely one of my favorites. And exclusive things that I like to carry that nobody else really thinks too much of, but I think are really, really cool. So that's obviously part of my name. Soccer also is another part of my name. Do a lot of kind of foot tricks or soccer moves into a lot of my freestyle, and so that's how I got my name. Obviously I played soccer. Soccer was one of my biggest sports. I wouldn't say I liked it as much as basketball, but I definitely excelled at it a little bit better than basketball. And anybody that has played soccer or has watched soccer before knows how intense and big of a sport it is internationally. It's unfortunately not as big in the States here. I think it's cool to kind of have that intertwined in basketball and with freestyle now too, because there is a lot of soccer freestyle as well. But I played soccer from probably age 5 on. I really, really liked soccer. Played soccer and basketball both, different seasons of the year. But soccer was one of my first loves. I really did like soccer a lot, and played it in high school and in college a little bit, along with basketball, of course. Alright, just want to talk about how I got interested in more basketball, kind of street ball sense. Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas really started it off, I think, for street ball in the sense of dribbling and fancy passing, and just showtime and kind of doing a little bit more show and kind of having more of a personality, I guess, on the court. Being kind of the pioneers, I think, to street basketball in the NBA, had a lot of flash and flair in their game that really molded a lot of guys in the 90s and even today into their styles. I had the joy and pleasure of having my own court in my backyard with kind of an adjustable hoop. I was lucky my dad worked on the railroad and somehow got this huge pole that we mounted a basketball hoop. And he actually welded kind of the frame of the basketball hoop where the rim is. He welded an extra piece, and we actually set it at like 6 feet. It started out at 7 feet and then went to 8 and 9 feet. So we could dunk on it and we could play, with our friends and everything and have fun. And the hoop it was like the first breakaway room. But we used to tear down. We would have tournaments, we'd have dunk contests. Before the YouTube days, we'd tape all the all-star festivities and stuff, the dunk contests and 3-points, and we'd have our own little contests in our backyards and playgrounds kind of around the neighborhoods and stuff. So that was when I really started getting a love and a passion for basketball, was in the 90s. A player that I think gets pretty underrated in the street ball sense, maybe biased obviously because he's a white guy, so maybe why I looked up to him, but Brent Barry. A lot of people forget about Brent Barry and his style and I guess finesse to his game and how he made it look so easy. I remember, like I said, with the All-Star weekend when he kind of showed out and did the dunk contest and won it in the warm-up jacket. I thought that was so cool. Back in the day. But he also did really, really cool stuff in the rookie game when the rookie game was still not as popular as it is a little bit more. Brent Barry, I think, was very influential in my basketball kind of type of game, and obviously also Jason Williams. That's kind of a little bit how I got started into basketball and street ball. Street ball, when I really got started into street ball, it was obviously after the 2000s, and when street ball started and one started to get more popular. But I worked at Foot Locker, and Foot Locker would get these and one mixtapes. By then, it wasn't an internet thing. It was a VHS that would come with a pair of and one shoes, and Foot Locker was big behind that, obviously how I got, the name Kicks and everything by the shoes. I used to work at Foot Locker. When I was young, I never could really afford Jordans. My parents would never spend $100 on a pair of shoes for me. So when I got to Foot Locker, I got obviously the discounts and deals and stuff, and started, really collecting a little bit more. Shoes as definitely a collector, because the Jordan just started to retro, and I remember every time one would come out and stuff, I'd reminisce to when I was younger and couldn't afford them. So like when they come out now and you get a discount and stuff, it's like you gotta get them now, or two pairs. The streetball thing, streetball in Foot Locker, we would always put the mixtapes on. People would always, come in and not really pay too much attention. But God, honestly, we would just sit there and just watch. I don't even know how we got paid for working. 2 or 3 years that I worked there, really got me interested into streetball and the and one and the hot sauces and headaches and half man, half amazing. All those guys from there, got to be pretty popular, and then started to see the and one tour coming around, and finally coming to at least an area close to me, which was Chicago. So me and my buddies went down to there. That was actually the first stop I went to. Was I think 2004. 2004 we went to Chicago. That was the first open run that I participated in. I really had no clue about streetball or anything like that. As far as, now if I could put myself back in that shoes, there's so many things I would want to do. But I just tried to play basketball. But doing a couple of those open runs, and then gradually starting to meet different street ballers and getting motivated that way. That's how I met Snake and Myth when the And One tour finally came to Milwaukee. And then the next year we kind of went all together, and then the next year also, we kind of had our 5 squad when we went to the open run and kind of killed it or dominated, as some would say. But yeah, so that's how I got involved in street ball, a little bit more, and then gradually, obviously, starting to build a relationship with those guys, and those guys talking about starting their own crew or own, thing, and those guys were really the one that motivated me, because I was being humble about it. They didn't have to let me into their group, or had to be cool to me or whatever, but they were, they're real down to earth guys. So definitely I appreciate all the love that they've given me. And back to kind of the early parts of DAZE street ball, we would do clips, we would do moves, we would do little segments and stuff, and go around town trying to, crash the courts or whatever. But that was the cool thing, it was really fresh and new to us, so we would be very competitive with each other and with other, people that we play basketball, try to get footage. I remember, just stockpiling footage. We would all, compile this footage and start to think about actually putting together a mixtape of our own. And once we started doing that, it really did snowball into something that I think is a very underrated mixtape, which I obviously so conveniently have here. This mixtape I think it could battle with any crews. Honestly, I think it's got a little bit of everything. Obviously, I'm biased towards it because I'm featured in it. But it is. I've showed it to a wide variety of people, and I think it gets gets pretty good respect, and it's cool to be a part of that. To be actually on a featured, I guess, DVD or whatnot is a cool thing, and I'm very humbled by that opportunity that they gave me to do that stuff. Even to now, when we do events and stuff, it feels like such a family, when you get back together. I mean, we've done these events, for going on almost 8 years. It's kind of like, a family that you haven't seen for a while, that you get back to doing things. And, it's a cool thing. It's a good feeling to be not only involved in the community and stuff, and motivating other kids to, do something positive in the community, but just to see these guys and continue to do positive things with them is a good feeling. Okay, so that about wraps this up. Hopefully, you guys got some benefit and some interest into this. This is one part that I feel kind of most passionate about this, that it gives you a little bit of take into somebody else's life and world. So that's that.